Happy New Year, everybody! With the new year, a lot of people start taking on different diets and exercise routines, and I felt like this was a really good time for me to reflect on my personal journey with IBS and the low FODMAP diet. On my blog, woodyandmarie.com, you'll find a 3-part written blog series on my journey with IBS. I would definitely check that out if you're just now getting a diagnosis of IBS or learning about it, or starting the low FODMAP diet. So I just wanted to take some time to reflect on the past 3 years when I had a major flare-up and then spent a year going to different specialists trying to figure out what was going on, and finally learning it was IBS, something that I had been diagnosed with years ago when I was 15, and having to deal with it in a completely different way than I had previously totally changed my life. Was super emotional and very draining, not only financially going to all of these specialists, but emotionally and physically draining. I was in a lot of pain and didn't understand why, couldn't get any answers. And then even after I had answers, I mean, going through this low FODMAP diet is not an easy thing. Your whole life pretty much changes. I couldn't go eat the same things that I normally would, and it was just totally new territory. So if you're in the same boat that I was in a few years ago, or maybe you've been on the low FODMAP diet for a while, I encourage you to watch these videos, go visit my blog. But also there are so many other resources out there. Monash University has a really wonderful app that I always plug because I use it all the time. I don't know what I would do without it because I can't remember the different serving sizes for each food that I can and cannot eat, and everybody's different. You can write notes in their app to kind of keep track of your personal journey. So first of all, I wanted to kind of explain why I am doing all of these videos and why I have the blog that I do. So I started the blog a couple of years ago when I first started the low FODMAP diet. Like I said, I was emotionally drained and I really wasn't interested in getting off of the low FODMAP diet. So I started doing these videos and they really forced me to venture out of my comfort zone a little bit on this diet. So I kind of got in a rut. You shouldn't be on the low FODMAP diet forever. You should eventually reintroduce things and get on a sort of modified FODMAP diet. So your gut biome changes over time depending on what you eat and your environment, and probably even your genes. I don't know, I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a doctor in any way. All of this is based on my experiences, and you should really just take it as opinion, and definitely go see a nutritionist or a doctor or a gastroenterologist to get a diagnosis and figure out what works for you. The low FODMAP diet doesn't work for everybody even, so definitely get a professional's opinion. But if you're on this journey or thinking about going on this journey, I'm here to just lend my experiences to you. I do think that my hesitancy to move into that modified low FODMAP diet is the same as most other people. You feel so much better on a low FODMAP diet, and to start reintroducing things back into your diet is not fun because most of the time you get sick. You have IBS symptoms, you might trigger a flare-up. You don't want to make yourself sick, but at the same time you want to not stay on that low FODMAP diet. You want to move into the modified FODMAP diet. So that took me a long time, and at first I was like, I can do this on my own. I don't need to be scientific about it. Like, I'll just eat stuff and it makes me sick, then I just won't eat that stuff anymore and I'll try something else. Did not work for me. Some people go that route and they don't measure and take notes and keep a diary, and I tried that for a while. It was not successful because I couldn't tell what I had actually eaten that triggered symptoms, and I wasn't measuring things. So it's like, well, okay, I maybe could have eaten a cup of this and it triggered symptoms, but I don't know because I didn't measure it out. So I could tolerate maybe a half a cup, but I didn't know that because I didn't measure and test it. So it definitely didn't work for me. If it works for you, great, but if you're starting out, I felt like I wasted time doing that. So you might want to just go ahead and download the Monash app and start tracking things that way. So I will say that I have been able to reintroduce some things back into my diet, but not many. And it's really hard for me to keep pushing myself to do that. And that's another reason that I started this this vlog or these videos, is because I needed something to really push me to test something like every month, because I was getting off course and I wasn't testing things because it was making me sick. And then, you know, I didn't want to test things during the week because I had to go to work, but because of COVID, I'm at home all the time. So if I'm sick, it's okay. Like, I don't have to be around people. I don't have to be in tight dress clothes and be uncomfortable all day. I can be at home and relaxed, which helps a lot. The other thing that is really helpful, I am forcing myself to create new recipes. And I used to not do that. If I'm not doing these videos, I definitely notice that I fall behind on trying new things. And I will literally just eat the same foods every day. And I'm completely content because it doesn't make me sick. So I'm just here to reassure everyone that we're all in the same boat. It sucks, and it's gonna suck, but I'm trying to make it fun. I'm trying to find ways to really encourage you, encourage myself. And so if you have any ideas of things that I should do for the vlog, or just any of your own experiences that you want to share with this community of people who are in the same boat as us, then please leave them in the comments. I would love to hear from you guys. One more tidbit I want to leave you with, because I feel like a lot of times we can kind of pretend that things are going really well for us when behind the scenes things really aren't going so great. So over the holidays, you know, it's really hard when you're on a restrictive diet to eat well over the holidays, because you're typically going out to eat with family and someone else is choosing the restaurant, or it's a family gathering and you have potlucks and everybody's bringing a different dish, and I'm over here with a lunchbox with my own stuff to eat. My family didn't do a big get together this year. It was just my immediate family, and we actually went to a restaurant that I could eat at. And then my mom, she's so amazing, she went to this bakery that specializes in all kinds of dietary needs. She bought all of these wonderful desserts and put them on this platter for me and presented it, and we had a taste test, and it was amazing. I ate everything, but then I also ate some things that I shouldn't have because I just wanted to see, right? Like, maybe this won't make me sick. And so I ate some like garlic bread and some legumes, and it doesn't sound like much, but holy crap, I had a really bad flare-up. I didn't get sick right after I ate these things. Like, I gave it 24 hours, didn't get sick. I'm thinking, hey, maybe I have gotten better, or I'm starting to get better. Ate something else, didn't get sick within 24 hours, so I ate some more. This went on for like 3 days, and I woke up in the middle of the night a couple days ago so sick and was just having flashbacks to when all of this started, and I was like, oh no, what have I done? And I just spent like a whole day on the couch just feeling so sick. And it always starts with like, I'm really sick, and like all my symptoms are flaring up. I always like compare an IBS flare up, a really bad one, to being like a mild case of food poisoning. If you've ever had food poisoning, you know it feels like you just want to die, and you feel like you are dying. And for me, I think that an IBS flare up, at least for me, it could be totally different for other people. For me, it feels like a mild case of food poisoning, which is awful. And then it usually lasts for a few days, just like food poisoning. On the last day, my body is usually so exhausted that I just like am so lethargic. And that's the other thing. When I have these flare-ups or any kind of symptoms are triggered, sometimes they're bad enough that like I don't want to work out. And working out is supposed to be something that helps with IBS. I try to work out like 3 to 5 times a week, and sometimes I just can't. And that's another thing. I think like when you're setting goals for the new year, just remind yourself of all the progress that you've made and all the accomplishments that you've had. And don't dwell on the things that you didn't do or that you haven't done, because that can really bring you down. And it's okay to take breaks and ease yourself back into exercise. I always really wanted to kind of like keep ramping up when I exercise to get to a point where I can do a 45-minute HIIT workout. It's not going to happen. I could do that before all of this, and I just can't do it anymore. Maybe one day I will be able to. I remember asking the nurse at my gastroenterologist when we figured out that this low FODMAP diet was working for me. I remember asking him, am I ever going to be normal again? And he just said, I don't know. Like, it's different for every person. I definitely feel like I'm getting better, but it's just a really long journey. Thanks, guys, and I appreciate any support that you can give. The more support that I can get and the more encouragement I can get will help me keep going on this journey, and I hope that I can do the same for you.